All right, so I had to switch. Apparently, at some point, I must have primed on this piece of foam, and this is all dry white primer. So I'm going to throw that out because those little flakes flying off onto the model. And I'm actually still dusting off some of them. I have to get some canned air, like I said. I touched up everything so far as much as I want before putting on some good old Pledge FloorCare. So let me prep up the brush so I can do a quick coat of that. And if that's my head bouncing off of the light, by the way. If people don't know why, I know a lot of people talk about that stuff. People use the floor, or it used to be called Future, Pledge FloorCare. It's an acrylic floor. It's basically acrylic medium in a bottle, but it's used for sealing and giving a surface shine for flooring, like tile and such. I think mostly laminate, but great on models because it's really thin. It self-levels, protects the paint, provides an acrylic barrier. And if you don't know, if you put acrylic clear onto your paint, you can safely apply enamel and enamel thinner, or even I'd be careful about lacquer thinner. That's kind of a edgy spot, but definitely you can do an enamel wash over this and an acrylic wash. It doesn't matter, and it'll protect the paint and let all of the wash and pin washing go into the little cracks and crevices where they need to go. And your paint job will look just as good as new. And then once it's dry, using either lighter fluid or enamel thinner like I mentioned, or even isopropyl alcohol if you're using an acrylic wash, you can come back with a cotton swab, Q-tip, and clean off the excess without any issue. All right, so let me prep that and then I'll get to spraying that. So quick before and after shots here of a part with and without the Pledge FloorCare finish on it. Here's the pre-piece. This is just the flat green. And here in comparison is the piece that I just sprayed. So what I'm doing is I'm using 25 psi on my airbrush. I'm using a 0.5 needle on my Badger Patriot, and I'm kind of misting it on and trying to avoid any beading. It's a little tricky to get the hang of because eventually at some point it is going to bead up because you're just not going to get it right. But with a little practice, it comes out very nice. This is only one coat I did, so I'm going to hit it with a little light dusting of a second coat, and then I'm going to do the rest of the parts. Let me turn on put my mask on. All right, and you can see 2 quick coats. It dries super fast, all right? So I just did those coats within like a minute of each other. Second coat has a nice building up the gloss on it. I'm not gonna go crazy with the gloss because really it's just to seal the paint in and for the pin washing. So that guy's out of the way, and I'm gonna do a little more. finally finished the gloss coat of the future Pledge FloorCare finish. It's my acrylic gloss seal to protect the paint, like I mentioned before, for decaling and pin washing, panel lining, weathering, all that fun stuff. Went through about 6 cup refills to get this big guy finally coated. Had to stop in the middle for a little bit because I forgot to add the metallic details to the barrels and the inside there. If you can see them. The wife is yelling upstairs about something. Yep, inside of the barrels there. And the mechanical parts. The mechanical parts in the back of the hatch here. So what I'm going to do is just let this dry. I'm going to give this 24 hours, so I'm going to come back to it tomorrow. Let this dry up. It'll dry fast, but it won't cure. So I really want to give it 24 hours to get a full cure on it. Actually, I got a little bit of excess there. You can see I'm going to have to clean that up just a little bit because it looks like some of it did run and pool a little bit. So I'm going to address that. Like I said, let it cure, and tomorrow I'll come back and get into details. See you then.